Your dog has been crying for help, not with sound, with behavior, and every single time you called it bad behavior. That is not your fault. Nobody taught you the language, but after this video, you will never misread it again. Welcome to Dog Paw Minds. Subscribe now because this one could change your dog's life. Today we are going through 9 signs that your dog is not misbehaving. They are asking for help. Not because they are broken, not because you are a bad owner, but because dogs have a silent language that most people were never taught to read. And when we misread it, we punish the cry instead of answering it. These 9 signs are real. They are documented in behavioral science, and they are fixable, but you have to see them first. Let's start with the one that gets punished the most. Sign number 9, the Zoomies. You think are fun. You have probably seen your dog suddenly explode into frantic running, spinning in circles, bouncing off furniture, and thought, look at them, they are so happy. Sometimes they are, but often, and this is the part that catches people off guard, the Zoomies are not joy, they are overflow. The clinical term is FRAP, frenetic random activity period, and it happens when a dog's nervous system has accumulated more stimulation than it can process. Think of a pot of water boiling over. The water is not excited, it has simply exceeded its container. A dog who fraps after a long day of being crated, after visitors leave, after a stressful vet visit, is not celebrating. They are releasing pressure that has been building for hours. The difference matters because a dog who is regularly hitting that overflow point is a dog who is not getting enough decompression during the day. They are absorbing stress with no outlet until the system forces one. The fix is not to let them run it out. That is like letting a panic attack finish on its own and calling it exercise. The fix is to build in calm breaks throughout the day. Short periods of quiet, low stimulation rest, chew time, scent work, anything that lets the nervous system settle before it reaches the boiling point. And if you think the Zoomies are harmless, wait until you see what happens when a dog's cry for help sounds exactly like something you trained them to do. That is sign number 8. Sign number 8, the barking you keep telling them to stop. When your dog barks at the window, at the door, at seemingly nothing, the most common response is to say quiet, or stop, or no barking. But here is what is actually happening. Barking is not a behavior problem. It is a communication system. And the specific type of barking tells you exactly what your dog is trying to say. Alert barking, short, sharp bursts. Is your dog saying something is different and I do not know if it is safe? Demand barking, longer, more rhythmic. Is your dog saying, I need something and I do not know how else to get your attention? And repetitive barking, the kind that goes on, is almost always a sign of understimulation or anxiety. Research published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that dogs who bark persistently in the home show cortisol levels up to 3 times higher than calm dogs in the same environment. They are not being annoying. Their nervous system is in a state of chronic alert. When you tell them to stop, you are not fixing the problem. You are silencing the alarm while the fire is still burning. The fix is not suppression. It is redirection. Give them something to do with that energy. A puzzle toy, a training session, a structured walk. Address the underlying need, and the barking does not need to happen. But there is one sign that is even more commonly punished than barking, and it is the one that breaks your dog's trust the fastest. That is next. Sign number 7, the pulling on the leash you keep correcting. Every walk, your dog pulls ahead, you pull them back. They pull again, you correct them again. And you think, why will they not just listen? Here is what is actually happening. Your dog is not being stubborn, they are being overwhelmed. A dog's nose processes information at a rate we cannot even comprehend. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found that dogs can detect odors at concentrations 100 million times lower than humans can. When your dog is outside, they are walking through a 3-dimensional newspaper of scent, and every square foot contains information they are biologically driven to process. Pulling on the leash is not defiance. It is a sensory system trying to do its job in an environment that is rich beyond anything we experience. The correction makes it worse. When you yank the leash, you are not teaching them to walk nicely. You are adding pain and frustration to an already overstimulating experience. The fix is a structured walk that gives them decompression time. Let them sniff. Build in sniff breaks where they are allowed to explore with no pressure. Use a longer lead. Walk in quieter areas when possible. When your dog's sensory needs are met, the pulling decreases naturally. But the next sign is the one that will make you rethink everything you believed about why your dog destroys your things. That is sign number 6. Sign number 6, the destruction you keep calling spite. You come home and your dog has chewed your shoes, torn up a pillow, destroyed the remote, and you think, they are punishing me for leaving. Here is the truth. Dogs do not have the cognitive architecture for revenge. They are not capable of it. What they are capable of is panic. When a dog destroys objects that carry your scent, specifically your scent, They are not getting back at you. They are trying to get back to you. Your scent is on those objects, and in your absence, that scent is the only connection they have to you. Chewing is a self-soothing behavior. It releases endorphins, and when a dog is in the grip of separation distress, chewing something that smells like you is the closest they can get to feeling your presence. The American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior has stated that punishment for separation-related destruction does not reduce the anxiety, it increases it. Because now the dog is not only panicked about being alone, they are also panicked about what happens when you come home. The fix is not a crate. It is not a spray. It is building your dog's tolerance to your absence gradually, starting with very short departures and slowly increasing duration, and giving them a rich, engaging environment so their baseline anxiety is lower before you ever walk out the door. But the next sign is the one almost every owner gets wrong, and it is the reason so many dogs stop trusting their humans entirely. That is sign number 5. Sign number 5, the hiding you keep pulling them out of. Your dog retreats under the bed, behind the couch, into their crate, and you reach in and pull them out. Come here, it is okay, you say. But it is not okay, not to them. Hiding is not cowardice. It is a survival strategy. In the wild, a dog who feels threatened seeks an enclosed, defensible space. When your dog hides, they are telling you that something in the current environment is more than they can handle. And when you pull them out of that space, you are overriding their only available coping mechanism. You are saying, your safety strategy does not matter. My need to comfort you matters more than your need to feel safe. That message damages trust at a foundational level. A study from the University of Lincoln found that dogs given access to a hiding space during stress-inducing situations showed a 60% faster return to baseline cortisol levels than dogs who were denied that space. The hiding place was not making the fear worse. It was making the recovery possible. The fix is to let them hide. Make their safe space comfortable and always available. Go to them if you want, sit nearby, speak softly, but let them come out on their terms. The dog who emerges from hiding because they feel safe again is a dog who trusts you more than the one who is dragged out against their will. But the next sign is the most dangerous one to ignore, because it is the one that directly precedes the bite, and almost no one recognizes it. That is sign number 4. Sign number 4, the growl you keep punishing. This is the sign that does the most damage when misunderstood. A growl is not aggression. A growl is a warning, and it is one of the most generous things your dog will ever give you. When a dog growls, they are saying, I am uncomfortable, I do not want to hurt you, but I will if you do not stop. That is communication. That is your dog giving you a chance to change course before something irreversible happens. When you punish a growl, you do not make the dog less uncomfortable, you make the dog less communicative. You teach them that warning you is dangerous. And a dog who has learned not to growl is a dog who will skip the warning next time. The bite does not come from nowhere. It comes after a long history of quieter signals that were ignored, then louder signals that were punished, until the dog has no options left. The fix is to thank your dog for the growl. Seriously, it means they still trust the communication channel. Back off, give them space. Figure out what triggered the discomfort and address it. If your dog growls regularly in specific situations, work with a force-free behaviorist to desensitize those triggers. Never punish the growl. Keep the warning system alive. But the next sign is the one that most people dismiss entirely, and it is the one that tells you your dog is starting to give up. That is sign number 3. Sign number 3, the ignoring you call stubborn. You call your dog's name and nothing happens. No ear flick, no head turn, no acknowledgement. And you think, they are being stubborn, they are blowing me off. Here is what is actually going on. When a dog stops responding to their name, it almost never means defiance. It means one of 3 things, and none of them are stubbornness. First, their name has become a poison cue. If their name is most often followed by something unpleasant, being scolded, being put in a crate, being dragged somewhere they do not want to go, the name itself becomes a warning signal. Their nervous system hears it and says, brace for something bad. Not responding is avoidance, not rebellion. Second, emotional withdrawal. A dog who is chronically stressed, understimulated, or living in an environment that does not meet their needs gradually disengages from social interaction. They are not refusing to hear you. They have run out of the emotional resources needed to respond. Third, the name has been diluted through overuse. Repeated 50 times a day with no consistent result, the name becomes background noise. The dog has simply learned to filter it out. In every case, the solution is the same. Stop using the name temporarily. Then reintroduce it with consistent, generous, positive reinforcement. Make their name the beginning of something good every single time. rebuild the association from zero. But the next sign is the one that reveals something deeper than stress. It reveals a dog who is starting to shut down entirely. That is sign number 2. Sign number 2, the stillness you call good behavior. Your dog lies quietly in the corner, does not bother anyone, does not make a sound, and you think, finally, they are calm. But there is a difference between a dog who is resting and a dog who is shut down. A resting dog has soft eyes, a loose body, and the ability to get up and engage when something interests them. A shut-down dog has a flat expression, minimal movement, and no responsiveness to things that should interest them: food, toys, their name. In behavioral science, this is called learned helplessness. It happens when a dog has been in an environment where nothing they do changes the outcome. Whether they cry or stay quiet, whether they approach or retreat, the result is the same. So they stop trying. They do not stop feeling. They stop expressing. A landmark study at the University of Pennsylvania found that dogs showing learned helplessness behaviors had cortisol levels identical to dogs in acute distress. Even though outwardly they appeared calm, the suffering did not disappear. It just went silent. This is not good behavior. This is a dog who has given up on being heard. The fix is slow, patient, and essential. Start giving them choices, small ones. Which direction to walk, which toy to pick up, whether to come to you or stay where they are. When a dog learns that their actions can change their world, the spark comes back, but only if someone is paying attention. And that brings us to sign number 1, the most urgent sign in this entire list, the one that means your dog is at their absolute limit, and you have probably been told it means the exact opposite of what it actually means. Sign number 1, the wagging tail you call happiness. This is the most dangerous misread in the entire canine-human relationship. A wagging tail does not mean a happy dog. It means a communicating dog. And what it is communicating depends entirely on how it is moving, where it is positioned, and what the rest of the body is doing at the same time. A high, stiff, rapid wag, especially with the tail held above the spine, is not friendliness. It is high arousal, and it can precede a bite. A low, slow wag with a curved, lowered body is not contentment. It is appeasement. The dog is saying, "Please do not hurt me." A tail that wags while the body is frozen, the eyes are hard, the ears are forward, and the weight is on the front legs. That is not a happy dog. That is a dog in a state of high alert, and the wag is not resolving it. Research published in the journal Current Biology found that dogs show consistent directional bias in their tail wagging. A wag bias to the right indicates positive approach emotions. A wag bias to the left indicates withdrawal and stress. The difference is visible to the naked eye if you know to look for it. Most people do not. And so they see a wagging tail and think everything is fine, while their dog is telling them, in the only language they have, that everything is not fine. The fix is to stop reading the tail in isolation. Read the whole body. The ears, the eyes, the posture, the weight distribution, the quality of movement. The tail is one data point in a system. The body is the whole story. And when you learn to read the whole story, everything changes. Here is what all 9 of these signs are really saying. Your dog does not have the ability to come to you and say, "I am struggling." They do not have words. They have behavior. And every single behavior on this list, the zoomies, the barking, the pulling, the destruction, the hiding, the growling, the ignoring, the stillness, the wagging that is not what you think it is, every one of those is your dog's nervous system speaking in the only language it has. When we punish the cry instead of answering it, we do not stop the suffering. We silence it. And a dog who has been silenced does not stop feeling. They stop trusting that feeling will ever lead to change. That is the most dangerous place a dog can be. Not because they will hurt someone, but because they will live their entire life in a state that no animal should have to endure. The bond worth having is the one where your dog does not need to cry for help because you already learned how to listen. Every person who watches this and changes one thing about how they read their dog is a dog somewhere who does not have to scream in silence anymore. That matters.